Right, absolutely love this question. Most people tend to have a good go at it, and you all tend to use different methods. So I just want to talk about a little bit about generally around it, or if you didn't have a clue, I'm here to help as well. But most people who didn't get it right tend to make little mistakes in multiplying out with negatives and things such as that. The most common approaches to doing this: first off, imagine that chunk wasn't out of it and think about find the area of the whole cuboid and then take away the bits that's missing. Next, people often find the area of the cross section multiplied by the length. Or very common again is break it into 3 pieces somehow and add them all together. I think I'm going to do the latter. I really don't think it makes very much difference, so I'm going to break this up into let's get that a bit more accurate to start with, into these 3 pieces. Now, the most important thing with this is making it obvious what you're doing. It's not a show question, although in 2 questions time we're going to have one of them, but it's really important you set out how you're doing it, especially when we're looking at it's a excuse me, a 5-mark question, 4-mark question. You need to ensure you're getting all these marks by being as clear as you can. So I'm going to find area A, which is equal to not B, which is equal to area C, or the volume of that part. So that's clearly x wide and x plus 2 high, I can see from the left hand side there, and then it's also got some depth. It's got x plus 1 depth, so I need to multiply these 3 things together. When you get onto cubits like this, the easiest thing is to do it bit by bit. X squared plus 2x, that's my left hand bracket. I've just multiplied that first bit out. So that was that times that. Now I'm going to have to do my 4 multiplications here on this sort of quadratic or double bracket. So x squared times x is x cubed, x squared times 1, that's x squared. 2x times x would be 2x squared. 2x times 1 would be 2x. Don't know why I wrote that bracket, but I've opened it, so I'm going to have to close it, otherwise it will drive me mad. So, simplifying that down, x cubed plus 2x, plus 3x squared, haven't we? Plus 2x. So at this point I'm going to actually add A and C together, because I'm going to have to add these together at some point now. Seems easy, which is 2x cubed plus 6x squared plus 4x. Brilliant. Worth taking a moment when you're doing a question of this length to check how it's gone. So I'm just going to look here, multiply that out and that, happy. X times a cubed times 1 is at 2x times x is 2x squared, 2x times 1 is 2x. Didn't show up there. Double it. Oh, great. Now, it's a really important thing to do in a question that's 4 marks long, because it's a tiny little mistake early on. It's a nightmare when you have to go back through the whole thing and check it all. So, let's look at B then. Now, B's a bit more awkward. A couple of things I've got to work out. First off, its height. Well, its height is, the height of the whole thing is x plus 2. But I need to take away this bit here, so I need to take away 2x. Now, that gives me a negative unknown when I simplify it down, doesn't it? 2 subtract x, they can often be a pain in the neck to multiply out. Right, so I know its height, and I know its depth. What about its width? The width of the whole thing, 4x take 1, then I need to take away these 2 bits. Well, let's take away 2x, that's nice and easy. 2x take 1, so my final section is going to be 2x minus 1 wide, 2 minus x tall, and x plus 1 deep. Let's write that in down here. So B is, I've forgotten already, x plus 1 deep, 2x, it was minus 1, wasn't it? 2x minus 1 wide, and 2 minus x tall. So, saved all my ugly negatives for this part. Right, let's multiply out these first two then. X times 2x is 2x squared. X times negative 1, negative x. 1 times 2x. 1 times negative 1. Highly recommend that at this point you simplify, or at any time you can simplify what you've got. So in here I've got 2x's, so two things with a coefficient of x, so 2x squared plus x, take 1, made that far too wide. Can I rub this out? Oh, there we go. Multiply by 2, subtract x. I'm going to get 6 terms here. Let's do these. So first off I'm going to multiply everything by 2. Then I'm going to multiply everything by negative x. So negative 2x cubed, all that'll be handy in a minute. Negative x squared. And positive x, because a negative times a negative is a positive. Don't know why I put the brackets in, never mind. Right, let's simplify this out. I'm going to put my cubic first, then x squared terms. There are 2, but there should be, is that right? Yeah, I guess there are. Just 2x squared terms. So I've got a positive 4 and a negative 1, so let's call that 3x squared. X's, I've got a positive 2x and another one, so plus 3x, and then only one constant. Right, now I need to do a plus c plus b. So a plus c, looking at this bit up, oops, this bit up here, and this bit down here. Oops, I forgot to put my 2 across there. That's quite important, because now I should cancel out 2x cubed and negative 2x cubed. Add them together, gives me nothing. My x cubes disappear. My x squared, I've got 6x squared and 3x squared. That would be 9x squared. 4x and 3x gives me 7. Oh, I'm going to write it with an actual pen. 7x. I've got no constant up the top, so that means my constant remains negative 2. I hope that's right. Checking it's the mark scheme. It is fantastic. Quite a long old question if you've watched the whole thing, especially. Sorry, 8 minutes of me talking at you, but I'll point out that just to remind you the 2 important things in here. Oh, that's not. Hold on, that's going to be annoying. The 2 important things are setting your working out really well. Making sure everything you're doing is labelled. Now that's first off to help yourself, so that when you look back at it you can see that you can work out what's going on. If you're looking back and finding your mistakes, you know what's where. If you put it all over the place, it can be a nightmare. And secondly, to help the examiner be able to award you those method marks. If they have to hunt around to find them and they can't tell whether you meant that was the area of this bit or the area of that bit, then they might not. They're less likely to award the marks unless you communicate it well.